Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, Carter, to the end of the season. Ravens Roundup. Sucks to say that. Really, really sucks to say that after such a, I don't even know the adjective to use offensively for what they did. Um, it's, it's. I'm still speechless, so to speak, and I felt like I was over it, but I guess I'm not. Thinking about it now, and we finna talk about it. I'm more. Let's quit. Are you disappointed or are you mad?
I'm fine. Thank you. I'm pretty good today. Actually, I'm disappointed in the Lions. That's about it.
No, I'm disappointed, but obviously me and B are far from surprised. Where I mean, we're kind of numb to it by now. This is what happens when you have no identity on offense.
Mm-hmm.
The defense did what they do, man. They know exactly who they are. They know exactly what they need to do out there on the field. So it doesn't matter what kind of offense you throw at them; they'll make the adjustments and they'll hold it down. But this is what it looks like when you don't have an identity on offense, and you claim to be a run team. That's just all. That's just all talk, right? Because when it comes down to it, you don't want to run the ball. You hand the ball to your running backs six times total, and say, well, it just kind of got away from us, right? That's kind of how the game went. Again.
Yeah.
There at no point was there a need to abandon the run. None. And this is a team that all you had to do was run the ball on them. There, I mean, doing what we did already gassed them towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we were actually running the ball, they'd have been. I mean, that defense, we would have had them exactly where we wanted them in the fourth quarter. But it got away from us, guys.
Yep, sure did. And I don't really know where to go from here as far as because when I watched it, it was play calling and play execution. It was a combination of both. So I think everybody
I have an idea.
Go ahead, B.
Maybe fire your coach.
We gonna get to that.
It's been this way. Like we can say play calling, but it's been this way with 3 different offensive coordinators. So
in playoff games,
and I don't know if he should have played or not, but playoff mark, but a crucial drop. Which watching it live, I didn't think it was a drop. I thought the guy made a good play. But when I watched all 22 today earlier, he dropped it.
Yeah,
he dropped it.
That's what he does.
So let's we'll just start on the defensive side, and everybody can kind of give their point of views on the defensive side, and then we'll go to offense because that's where the bulk of the issues happened.
Sure.
Start us off, B, since you're the impartial party.
I thought the defense played well. I was a little disappointed in Matabike not being more of a force with Thuney out, but they played, and disappointed in 11 targets, 11 catches for Travis Kelce. But listen, he's a great player. Arguably the greatest tight end of all time, and that's going to happen.
He's no Mark Andrews.
That is true. It was very true. That said, I thought they played about as well as you could expect a defense to play against a team like Kansas City in a conference championship game. So I thought they did very well.
Yeah, no, I would be like, I mean, there's a couple of plays here and there where it's just like, okay, I wish they didn't let them convert the fourth down. I wish that they get them off the field on on a couple of third downs. But when you're playing a great a great team, some great players, that happens. But in that second half, they made the adjustments. Hold on, I'm back. They made the adjustments that they needed to make to keep this team in the game. So not a lot of criticisms for the defense. Yeah, I mean there's a couple of things here and there, especially the penalties. But all in all, 17 points. They did their job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when it started off the first 2 drives, I was like, damn, it's gonna be a long day. But they hunkered down, and they did exactly what they needed to do after those first two drives, and they completely shut KC down. Hats off to Mike McDonald for coming out, getting punched in the mouth, getting knocked down, and being able to adjust and press the right buttons in order to stop the KC, not slow them down, stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the offense couldn't hold their end of the bargain, but we'll get to them. Like Coach said, shout out to Hamilton. Hamilton was all over the place.
Yes,
all over the place, and it seems like each game he has at least one drive where he just takes over, and he's done that consistently throughout the season, where he'll just take over, at deep part of the field, intermediate part of the field, and in the backfield. Like he'll just have one of those drives where he just completely shuts things down. So, it's a tough, opportunity to squander as far as the defensive side of the ball, because, like I said, for them to shut down KC after those first two drives was monumental, and that was not something that I saw happening after those first two drives. So kudos to them for being able to bunker down and be able to do exactly what they needed to do after those first two drives.
Yeah. Let me preface this off with saying defense played phenomenally. They did everything they needed to do. You can't put this loss on this team. But as I sit here now, I feel like Denny Green. We let him off the hook. You want to crown him? Oh, no, we can't crown him. It's a Super Bowl. Listen, first two drives were atrocious. And the thing that, to me, that was most disappointing was it wasn't that Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce was Travis Kelce. What was disappointing to me was the tackling. The tackling was atrocious. And if on one of those drives we could have tackled or maybe not given up that fourth down play, maybe it's a 10-10 game. But once again, I can't put any of this on the defense because they did everything that they needed to do to win this game, especially in the second half, shutting them down, not giving up a single point. Like, you held Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to 0 points. So in this game, Mike McDonald went from high schooler to grad student to NFL defensive coordinator, all within 5 series, all within the same game. So hats off to him. Congratulations on the Washington, Seattle job, whatever one he gets. But defensively, we did what we needed to do. I didn't think that his defense, as well as it played all season long, was going to stop Kansas City at all. I didn't think that. I wasn't expecting that, and they did everything they needed to do. So kudos to them. Once again, for the fourth time out of 5 years, defense shut a team down, and we just couldn't score enough points.
True. I'm with you, Hendo. I saw the change starting about middle of the second quarter, to them finally figuring out a way to slow them down, and the tackling got a lot better. Because a lot of those, like, they were taking what we gave them. Like, anytime they would be outnumbered on the flank, it'll be like 2-3 receivers and 2 defenders and maybe a safety back. They just snapped it through the screen, and we didn't tackle. Marlon was part of it. There was a bunch of people part of it, not just Marlon, but Marlon was the one that stood out to me because he was one-on-one, just let the dude basically run through his arm. But they took check downs, they took the quick throws where they had the numbers advantage, and they got first down. Like I mentioned yesterday and early in the stream, I don't remember them throwing the ball further than 20 yards down the field, but twice. To a first down to Kelce, and then the last pass to MVS. So they didn't go down the field. They dinked and dunked and ran the ball.
And we got bailed out. We got bailed out on the holding call, that Rashee Rice touchdown.
Yes. So
that was clean.
But again, Jose, that was a screen. That wasn't down the field. I mean, it ended up being like a 30-yard game, but that was a screen too.
A lot of hand tackles he broke through.
Exactly. But the thing is, even though, with like Hendo said, to hold the Chiefs to 17 points, if you tell me Sunday morning that we hold the Chiefs to 17 points,
we won.
We got it.
I'm celebrating right now because I know we playing in 2 weeks. I know we play in 2 weeks. So I don't have no quarrels with the defense other than who are tackling to start the game off with. And then they let Kelce get up under their skin for some penalties. So, well, other than that, man, them cats, they did what they needed to do as a whole. And, a lot of people were saying the defense sold. And I'm like, bro, you hold Pat Mahomes to 17 points. You did your job. It don't count. It don't matter how them 17 points got on the board. They could have scored 17 points in the first drive.
Everything, as far as I'm concerned, everything that they did wrong, they kind of redeemed themselves in that second half. Minus the late penalties, but we turned the ball over to get the ball right back.
Yep,
not giving up any points. Right, Lamar throws an interception. We don't, we get the ball back. Had a fumble. We stop them on fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
Just they stepped up. They manned up when we needed them to do so. I look, props to the defense. They get none of the blame here.
None to me. And even coming out of half, and we'll kind of switch over unless somebody else want to wrap it up. The plan when you come out of half, and everybody's plan is the same. You're down 10, defense get a 3 and out, offense go score. That's everybody's plan come out of half. Defense got a 3 and out, and offense may have got a 3 and out too, or something. It wasn't much on offense, so your momentum just took you right away from the jump. So it is what it is. So anybody else want to fold up this defense, Brodney? I know you started.
No, like I said, I agree with what everybody's saying. The offense didn't show up. The defense did. But I will. Okay, I'll close out with this as well. Jose and I talk about all the time. We say, Baltimore, the defense will not save you. Doesn't matter how good they are. Doesn't matter how good they play. You have to score points, or you are going to lose.
True.
You should be. Because I was going back at it with this dude on Twitter today, and he decided just to show me his mock draft, and his first 2 picks were an edge and a cornerback.
Of course.
And I told him, I said, but we can't score points in the playoffs. He's like, but if we stop him, I'm like, we did stop him.
But that's why I told y'all it was going to happen. Early in the season, we were all questioning those wide receivers and upset with the drops and everything. And Coach asked us what's going to happen, for our prediction for their next stretch, because it was a tough stretch. I think Baltimore's going to win 7 in a row, and I think they won 6 out of 7 or whatever.
Something like that.
And we're all going to say, hey man, the offense is good. Then they're going to fail. We're going to blame Lamar, and you're going to draft defense. That's what Baltimore does.
Because if we sat here and said the defense lost this game, you guys would be looking at us like we're talking crazy, right? Because we can easily say, hey, well look, 17 points is too many points. We only scored 10. We need them only let them score 9. Right? We could if you want to keep investing into the defense. That's what you're saying every year when you're looking at the offense that doesn't have enough, and you're saying, get defense. We'll get it done on defense. Well, if you want to get it done on defense, then 17 points not good enough. It's got to be 9 points.
Yep.
that's what those 2000s defenses were doing.
Yep.
Right. With the one that you guys remember, right, was how many points do you need from us today?
10,
13.
Right.
Okay, cool. Right. Cool. We can get you that. Don't worry. They'll get less than that. If you're trying to get that defense, that's what it takes. That's not realistic.
Those days are over in the NFL.
The rules won't allow that no more.
Yeah.
Which is why you stop investing so heavily in the defense.
Yes.
All right, let's switch over to B side. And I think we're gonna have long conversations about this. Matter of fact, let's kind of throw it back, because we could be all over the place on offense. Let's kind of lock it in on one position at a time.
Okay.
We'll be all over the place talking offense, I think, because I think we all got issues with different spots. Well, let's start with the O-line. Chris Jones and John Simpson. And somebody correct me in the chat, or y'all can correct me on the screen if I'm wrong. But I can't recall Chris Jones playing on the offensive left, defensive right side ever. I've always seen him either in a 0 head up over the center, in a 3 technique on the offensive right, or a 5 technique. I've never seen him just line up over the left guard. And I felt like they said, okay, this is my, you know what? Let's put Chris Jones right there. But he started off good. He did. He started off good, had a couple good blocks. will help Chris Jones some one-on-one stuff. But anybody with their right mind know that no matter how good John Simpson played, and I ain't finna bash him, I'm just gonna say, no matter how good he played, Chris Jones is gonna win that matchup the majority of the time. So you got to figure that I can't consistently hold the ball and I can't consistently call deep stuff because my O-line not gonna hold up to Chris Jones. And I ain't even talking about the rest of them because a Menahu and STD had good plays too. So if you don't know who STD is, that's Karlaftis. That's the me and Garnett joke. We couldn't say his name at first, and so we was talking about him. We was like, Karlaftis sound like something you get, when you do something you ain't got no business. We start calling him STD. But they played good. But as a whole, the offensive line, you got to find Chris Jones, and you just got to know he coming. The run game early, we had some positive runs, but then like we had 6 runs total.
He had 8 positive.
8.
No, Gus had a nice.
You gotta count 2 as 8.
Huh?
You gotta count Zay's.
Yeah, I don't like counting Zay's. I know that's why I keep saying 6. Even though technically it's 8.
Had a 15-yard run, and then his other 2 carries went for 5 total.
Yeah,
way late on.
Yeah, Gus had the first carry in the second quarter, and then second half, and he had one other carry, like maybe in the fourth quarter, like third and 1 or something like that. And them was the only 2 rushes we had other than Zay's run in the second half. But offensive line, they played okay because there were times Lamar had a bunch of time to throw, and the ball just didn't come out. So they weren't trash, but they weren't good. They was okay. That's where Morgan Moses gave up a sack. Ronnie gave up a sack, and it wasn't like no constant pressure all day. The only constant pressure was when they blitzed, and Justice Hill couldn't pick up the blitz. But we'll talk about him later.
Yeah, I thought overall they did okay. Again, I just don't think they're put in a winning position because you talk about Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to dominate whoever you put in front of him, right? But again, I mean, I'm just looking at that defense in the fourth quarter. Without running the ball, they were getting gas. Chris Jones fell out like 2 or 3 times. Like they were getting tired. If we call more running and we're attacking them more, that's wearing them down even more and putting us in a better position to do what we want to do out there. They weren't really given a chance to impose their will. I thought they did okay overall. Obviously, the sacks aren't good, especially the one where you're giving up a strip sack. But they did okay.
Yeah, I agree. It was just okay, and I just felt like they weren't really given an opportunity to really be put in positions to succeed. I mean, when you're dropping back, close to 40 times a game, and barely being able to run block, you're putting your offensive line that's already, in my opinion, the weakness of the whole team. You're putting them in a position to have to hold their water, especially when you're calling long development plays down the field. Like that's a recipe for disaster, especially with a guy like that, like Chris Jones, who is arguably the best interior defensive lineman in the league.
True.
You're just asking for trouble. So I think for what they were asked to do, I think they did good comparatively speaking to what their skill set is. And just is that what you want them to do? Is that where they excel? No. We know that as fans, and I'm not sure why the coaching staff will put them in those positions over and over and over again instead of running the ball, because this team, this O-line has been better at running the ball or run blocking.
Right.
They haven't been, the 2019 O-line when it comes to run blocking. But if you ask what do they do best, run block or pass block, I would say run block.
I agree.
So everything you guys are saying is correct. This just reminds me of a movie. I can't remember. I think it was a thin line between love and hate. And Martin Lawrence was talking to Neil Long, and he asked her a question. And she said, I expect you to be who you are. Nothing more, nothing less. And I think this offensive line is everything that we expected it to be. And I mean, like you said, they didn't play terrible. They gave up plays. All lines gave up plays. But just sitting here listening to you talk, everybody talk, I thought about something. Is not Ronnie Stanley one of the elder statesmen, one of the leaders on the offense on the team?
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings me back to Jeff Saturday. And I remember in playoff games with Jeff Saturday, he went up to Peyton Manning. He went up to the coach and was like, yo, we doing a little too much throwing. Our bread and butter is to run the ball. And we don't have any guys on this team that's speaking up, saying, yo, why are we dropping back all these times? Like, you see the pass rush coming. Run the ball. They just gave up 182 yards to the Bills.
That's not Ronnie Stanley.
But I mean, any of them, not just him, but
I agree with you, Hendo, because him and Peyton, they went head up.
Because he told him
Peyton kept changing the plays to pass.
Yep.
And Jeff Saturday got in his stuff. That's a great point.
So even Kevin Zeitler, like, they have tenured guys that can speak their mind and say, yo, what are we doing here? They don't all have, and this is the problem that I have, and I guess we'll get into this later with that dude, is we don't have guys that's going to step up and say, yo, we've lost in the playoffs like this the last several years. Let's do something different. But overall, as far as their play goes, I mean, they did what they were going to do.
B, you got a take on?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't good. Like I said, they were all right. There were times when Lamar had a lot of time to throw, and then you have other issues. But that was mainly, I thought when Kansas City would rush just 3 or 4, he'd get a lot of time. Any other time, the pressure was coming. But like you all said, that's not their strength. You're allegedly built to do something else, and decided you don't want to do that something else for the entire game. So
allegedly. Allegedly.
Not really, but allegedly.
Yeah, it's a shame when we got catfished. I just thought about that. We got catfished. We've been texting this girl on Facebook and or whatever, and she had all these filters on her pictures.
Coach, you done met this girl 4 times already.
Desirable.
Coach. Taking pictures from the neck up,
with angles.
You done met this girl 4 times already, Coach. Like,
hey, she talking about she like Janet Jackson. She come around looking like Freddie Jackson.
Freddie Jackson.
You got catfish, man. Nah, you got catfish.
You got catfish in 2019. It's 4 years later now.
This year she told us she was working out.
Right.
I've been hitting the gym.
I'm on the Atkins. I got the surgery. I got the lap band. BBL.
Oh, we got catfish by the team. Chris, go ahead, Chris.
I won already.
Just like
Oh, I thought about something. My this ain't got nothing to do with football. This for Chris though. Before I came in here, my wife was watching a movie and it's based in Sao Paulo. And so all I thought about was you with the full side. That's what I thought about.
Yeah, that's what I need right about now.
Yesterday was tough, man. Yesterday was tough. So we did O-line. Let's go to receivers. No, we got to go all of them because watching that film today revealed something to me that I did not see during the game. Bateman is on his thing. Bateman was doing his thug this. He just wasn't getting the balls. Pause.
Oh, like when Lamar told him to go deep and he just came back.
That's one instance. Other than that man was open almost the whole game.
Hey, coach, that one instance could have tied the game.
Don't care. He was open multiple times on schedule, as the term is, and didn't get the ball. He made not Willis Snead, L'Jarius Sneed, that's his name. Yeah, he spent that man around like a bottle top and didn't get the ball. And Sneed's their best corner next to McDuffie.
They say
McDuffie's a slot guy, but Sneed's the outside. Sneed's the outside guy. Like just watching that earlier, I don't know what the issue is with him and Bateman. I don't know why Bateman always on the, and people have been saying it all year, but I didn't like. I kind of brush it off as people just trying to find something to complain about. The man was open. It's clear as day, on schedule, as the people say, and he wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah, he's been open a lot this season too. It wasn't just yesterday. Like he's been open quite a bit, and like you said, Coach, I don't know what the disconnect is, but it is just those two cannot get on the same page. And it seems like when he does go to him, it's like 2-3 yards either over, 2-3 yards under.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like in stride. And even last week on the one over the middle where he had to dive back, if Lamar lays that out in front of him, Bateman got room to run.
Yep.
And I don't know what it is with them. It's they just can't get on the same page. I think he's talented. I think Bateman's a talented dude, and he can obviously get open. But it's just those two. I don't know. They just can't get into it.
You did a stuttering thing for a second, Chris.
Max Headroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
it did the little remix.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is with Bateman. It's just not working out, right? I mean, he can get it going with other receivers. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know. It's just not working out with Bateman. But again, man, like this when it comes to passing, they can do it in chunks, right? It's a little bit better than what we had with Giro, right? The wide receivers, DJ Spin that, you know, it's you know, they perform.
My bad. Now, who's saying Lamar doesn't like Bateman? Like, we just saw Bateman like shout him out yesterday, like immediately after the game.
Yeah,
Talk about how much love that he has for him. It has nothing to do with him liking him. It's just there's some people like if you ever play sports or ever play ball or something like that, there's people that you just click with like right away, and then there's people that you could love them to death, but you just don't click with them on the field for whatever reason that is, and that happens. Yep. You know that happens in sports.
So you mean like Lamar in Hollywood and Lamar and Bateman?
Wait, Lamar in Hollywood?
Yeah, they just instant.
Yeah, and look at Zay.
Yeah,
look at Zay, and look at Mark Andrews. Like, and even look at Likely.
Yeah.
Seems like he clicks with guys who make plays.
I mean, it's hard to make a play when you don't get a chance to.
Yeah,
we say that a lot about Ravens receivers. They get chances, they don't make plays.
Right, but I could show you 25 clips of Bateman getting open and not getting the ball.
Exactly.
Okay, I can show you 93 clips of him catching the ball, and I can show you 4 where he scored.
Yeah,
he's still his job is to get open though. He can't.
Yeah, he got to get open. He got to get the ball.
His job is to also catch the ball, which he did at a 57% clip, and it's also to make something happen after he catches the ball.
You still work.
I'm not saying that he's not.
You still work PFF. You throwing numbers out.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm not. It is his job to get open, and I'm not saying that Lamar shouldn't throw him the ball, but I'm saying it's also his job to do something once he has the ball, and he doesn't really do that.
Yeah, but
none of us do get yards. I'm sorry, nobody on the team gets yak, but like
Zay does.
To Chris's point, in a game like that, like listen, like we all love Lamar here, right? He's not without his faults. In a game like that, when guys are open, you got to hit them, especially when your line is giving you time to go through your reads. You got to see them. You know what I'm saying? You can't just lock in on certain players and try to force it.
Let me answer this real quick. Brew, well, how come the KC defensive coordinator is not getting interviewed for jobs? He didn't have this opportunity. That's why.
Right.
He'd have been a head coach before, and it just ain't worked out. So that's kind of why his name ain't been mentioned in the head coaching circles. He had opportunities, and it ain't worked out.
He's a proven bad head coach.
He figured out he's just a defensive coordinator.
Yep. he found his lane, and he gonna stay in it.
Yeah.
Listen,
I appreciate the dub, Brew. Appreciate it.
Listen. Whatever's going on between him and Bateman, they still got another year to get it together. So hopefully that clicks. But we glossing over something. We glossing over 15 mil. We told you. Odell Bateman ain't it. Odell Beckham Jr. Sorry. Odell Beckham Jr. ain't it. We told y'all this before the season started. And what did y'all tell us? He just need to get healthy. Yeah. He's worth every penny. Even if he don't make plays, he's just worth having in the building.
I think he's worth having in the building because without him, the negotiations for 8 is maybe still ongoing.
That might be true, Coach. But guess what, Coach? If I had T. Higgins sitting here instead of him, negotiations might still go on too.
How you gonna get T. Higgins?
I'm just giving an example. Coach. I'm just saying. Okay, DeAndre Hopkins. He was available. He was
definitely
available
was.
and productive. So my
Yep.
whole thing was
With mayonnaise mustard, man.
Oh man, everybody got caught up in this narrative of the name, and this is what the Ravens do to fool us. They go ahead and get names, and we get all excited. They brought in the name, bring in production. Because I looked it up. I think I looked it up yesterday. He only started He only started like 6 games.
Hold on, Hendo. Hold your point.
That?
I be saying trying to get kicked.
Oh no,
I be saying trying to get kicked. Stop. My dog do not need to catch strays.
Why y'all, my man? Why y'all
he was in Cleveland chilling, probably rooting for the Ravens, and he don't need to be over catching strays.
Probably so.
I'm sorry, but I had to address my man.
I know it's another one coming, Coach, when you see it. But yeah, so we told y'all we need more playmakers outside of Odell just in case he doesn't work out, and we didn't get it. And maybe Bateman was the only one, him and Zay, but these receivers just weren't getting open. They weren't. And I mean, part of it's a collective as far as why the passing game didn't work yesterday. It's the collective. Everybody's involved. Nobody is absolved of blame. But I just think that if we'd have gone out there and gotten playmakers, like real playmakers, and stopped relying on first and second year players, because we put a lot on rookie shoulders. And I think part of the reason, and I could be wrong, that Bateman doesn't get the ball as much as he should. I think they're making a concerted effort to get Zay Flowers the ball so they can say, see, we hit on a wide receiver. We hit on one. Look. And I think they're just doing that over and over again just to get these records and make it look good so they can finally say, we did it, y'all.
Possibly. That could be some underlying, to it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I was saying I think they're making a concerted effort to get Zay the ball. and whether it's the coaching staff, which I don't think it is because they're morons, but maybe it's just Lamar because that's the one guy who he feels like is a game-changing player on that offense.
True. He's the only one that could beat man. Like when I was watching the stuff from yesterday, like when they played man, only person was getting open was Bateman and wasn't getting looked at, and Zay. Zay was consistently open. Like Mark clamped, Aguilar clamped. Who else? Odell was clamped when he was running deep balls. Odell was open on the short stuff, but anything over 5, 6, 7 yards, clamped. Odell clearly beat the man off line of scrimmage on fade. But within the third step, the dude had to caught back up with.
Yeah.
So he ain't a go ball like that. Why they keep throwing him fades? That's not his game no more. His it's through. It's over with for him. And I love Odell, but the fade ball ain't part of his game no more. Go ahead, Chris.
You saw him on the Rams, and that's pre the last ACL injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they had him in the slot, like they were moving him all around. And here he's just pretty much an X receiver. Like that's what he is over here. And it's like, how do you watch the Rams tape, and then you just throw him off to the X, like if he's New York Giants Odell. Like that just didn't make sense to me.
Because they didn't watch the Rams tape. They watched the New York tape.
Right. I got a question, y'all. I got a question. Somebody comments talking about here we go again with the Ravens don't have. Damn, am I still frozen?
You good?
You good?
Am I moving? Am I talking?
This one.
That one. I want to address this. Yes. My question is this: who are the playmakers? And please say
we don't have playmakers.
I'm asking him. Who are these playmakers? Since we be making this argument, where are all these playmakers we got on offense?
I think Zay is gonna turn into that. It's a little premature, right?
And we got definitely gonna be that.
And we got some solid guys, right? But no, there's no Travis Kelce on this team.
He said likely.
I'm not even sure, but I'm not even sure about likely because, like, I'm not sure if I trust them being able to get the two tight end sets, straight because we had likely on the bench this whole year with Mark Andrews, and we saw what likely could do in little spurts last year.
You mean Monken?
What do you mean?
You said likely. You said you don't trust Monken. You said you don't trust likely with the two.
No, he's talking about likely.
He's talking about likely.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, so it's like we saw likely he could ball a little bit, and then obviously they had him in practice and all of that stuff, and it's like, and then Andrews gets hurt, and likely is balling. So it's like you didn't see that like during practice, like leading up to it, like you couldn't say, oh yeah, we could use this guy, like we could use these two tight end sets and really create some mismatches for the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like yesterday they didn't even attempt to do it.
The thing is, somebody asked when Mark, because Mark was on the way back. Somebody asked me like, and I forgot what it was. You think we should run some 2 tight end sets to do XYZ? I'm like, likely showed that he can be productive last year. So why we ain't have 2 tight end sets from the jump?
That's the thing. This is always going to lead back to the coaching staff. It could be that he doesn't work well in 2 tight end sets, or it could be the coaching staff just doesn't get it.
And Monken can do it though. That's the thing, because he did it at Georgia. Like
I'm not putting this on Monken.
It's so weird.
I'm not putting it on Monken. This is what, third, fourth offensive coordinator, and we perform the same exact way. That is coming from the head coach.
Hey, Brandon, I have a math question for you.
Yes, sir.
How can a player in the NFL score a touchdown in 7 straight games when they only had 5 touchdowns? When they only had 5 touchdowns for the entire year?
I was just wondering.
How you do that? How you score 7 straight games?
But that's how big a playmaker is.
Oh,
that's how big a playmaker is.
Damn. And hey, you guy, you stop it.
Hey, I saw that, but I didn't think. But my math wasn't mathing over here.
I understand how we watched the game yesterday and see Travis Kelce eat us up and say we got playmakers over on our side.
We got that over here
because Ravens fans are delusional.
Facts.
We have some solid guys. We don't have the guy. We got some solid guys. We don't have like a guy
all season long. You got several people in the chat right now talking about Lamar's not the guy. Lamar's not a pocket passer. Oh, they can move on from Lamar. They're talking about the 2-time MVP like that. Right. We streamed for nearly 4 hours after the game yesterday, and what we heard was, and I'm not saying Lamar played great. Lamar played okay. He had some obviously big mistakes. He made a few plays. It was an okay game, but we had people in the chat telling us simultaneously he needs to be better passing the ball. Cool, fine. He needed to run more. No, bullshit. And he needed to call better plays. Shut the fuck up. He's not the offensive coordinator. Right?
Somebody did say that.
Somebody did. Several people said that. It wasn't just one person. Several people said, "Oh well, he can make checks at the line, right? You want him to check every goddamn play,
right?"
Like,
so you want to do this?
This is my whole thing. Like Ravens fans, this is what you get because this is what you deserve. We were here saying, "Go sign DeAndre Hopkins." No, we got 4 first-round wide receivers. We don't need DeAndre Hopkins. That's too much. We said at the deadline, go get a running back. People told us, "Oh, you don't know ball. We can line up and run it down anybody's throat. We don't need Lamar. We don't need that gimmick offense no more." Look at you now. Like, don't deny this stuff. Say, "Oh, we don't need this. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need that," and then put it on one player and say it's all on him.
Right.
Can you imagine if we made that trade for Derrick Henry at the trade deadline and he was playing yesterday?
And with 3 carries, I cannot.
Oh yeah,
I feel like been the same result.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to have Derrick Henry in.
But what if only they don't trust Gus Edwards. They played 6 playoff games. They haven't given a running back more than 13 carries in any of them. They don't trust the running backs they have because they're not any kind of special players. They're just guys.
I don't think it's a trust thing. I just think that they get so overwhelmed and it's like, oh my God, we don't know what to do. And I don't even think it has to do with trust. I just think it has to them shitting down their pants. Like,
but I'm trying to give these longtime NFL coaches the benefit of the doubt. They're not.
I think Chris is right.
Chris right. I think they netted up.
They lost that benefit of the doubt.
But you got somebody like Derrick Henry there, right? It's somebody that's got some pull, and Lamar saying, "Yo, we got to hand the ball to the big guy here." You know what I'm saying? Like Lamar gonna be saying, "Yo, we got to feed him the rock," because he's proven, what he can do with the ball, right? I think it's a little different. You got somebody like like Henry in the backfield. Gus Edwards, it's easy to write him off, right? Like, he's fine, when he gets going here and there, but he's not somebody where you're like, you got to feed him the ball in these situations.
But that's what I mean when I say they don't trust him. They're like, well, what's giving the ball to Gus Edwards going to do? It's the same thing when say take a check down for Lamar, right? And I say it on here all the time. Check it down to who?
But speaking of, we didn't get the running backs yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I don't blame the running backs either. You can't.
Oh, yeah, how could you? They didn't play.
Right.
They feel fresh today.
Yeah, right.
not a sore bone in their body.
The healthiest I felt all year.
And you know what? And I'm gonna look it up for a second in a minute. Justice Hill may have had more targets than carries.
Oh, he did. He did by a wide margin. He had
3 carries.
He got targeted 7 times.
He had 3
got
carries.
targeted once. and that's the
Yes,
thing. Like
sure
you
did,
know,
B.
they say this is what kind of team we are, but that's not the kind of team that they actually put out on the field, right? And so we can have all these arguments about the players and whether or not they have enough talent on the offense and all this stuff, but really what it comes down to is you don't have the right head coach. And a lot of Ravens fans can't wrap their mind around that. And I don't understand why. I was gonna say let's play a little game because I saw these quotes gathered on Twitter where it was like, oh, I don't know why we didn't run the ball more. That's just the way the game went. And I was like, guess the year, because it was 4 different years that he said that after a game.
Yeah.
Right? And it's 3 different offensive coordinators, but it's the same story because it's John Harbaugh running the team, and it's time for John Harbaugh to go.
Hey,
ongoing theme.
You ain't wrong, B. You ain't wrong. Like, because my thing is, if we had Derrick Henry and we only give him 3 carries, what's the purpose?
Right.
What's the purpose? It's okay. I'm the head coach. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. I'm the head coach,
Right.
and I ain't really calling the plays, but I do need to know what's going on. And I know because you can look at the board. They tell you how many rushes for how many yards. So you ain't got to have anybody telling you, hey, we ain't rushed but 6 times. You can raise your head up and see 5 carries, 6 carries, 8 carries. Hey, man, we need to run the ball. Because at no point in that game was there the lead big enough where the run should have been taken out. At no point.
I'm glad you said it because I was going to ask you, right? A lot of people were saying, well, hey, Todd Monk is the one calling the plays. All right. What is Harbaugh doing out there? Because when we say Harbaugh gotta go, we got a lot of people defending Harbaugh saying, well, he's not the one that's dropping these passes and throwing interceptions and all that stuff.
Y'all see this a lot yesterday? Who you think he talking to?
Right.
Who you think he talking to? All you got to say is, hey, Todd, run the ball. That's it.
Right. Like,
run the ball. He ain't got to call a play. Hey, Todd, run the ball. We need to run it right here now. Like I was in a situation where before I moved to Florida, where I was an OC, but I didn't call the play. And so the head coach would be like, hey, what you think, whatever. And so he give me, I start calling him. Be like, all right, coach, now we need to run the ball. It's that simple. And you just find something, you find a run play to call.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, he's the head coach. You can't absolve him from everything and put it on everybody else.
Honestly, Jose, you can't absolve him from nothing.
Nothing.
He's the head coach. Anything goes wrong, his fault.
And coming out
Justice Hill fumble, Harbaugh fault. Lamar make a bad throw, because when you're the head coach of an NFL team, you're the CEO of that team. So everything that happens under you is your fault.
The one run where Gus Edwards had like 15 yards, I don't understand why they didn't say, oh yeah, we gotta keep feeding him.
And Jose, on that run, they had 8 in the box.
Yes.
Like you all know that I'm not a fan of Gus Edwards. Like I don't think he's particularly talented. I think he's a backup running back. But if I were running the team and I handed him the ball and he ran for 15, I say, let's see if he can get 15 again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just find out, right?
At some point. But
and he came out of the half because you know how they do the interviews after right before halftime starts, and he said we got to run the ball more. He specifically said that. And people are saying, all right, it's Monken's fault. All right, Lamar checks into runs. We don't know what happens. We don't know the details of that. All right, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if Monken calls a run, Lamar checks into a pass, and he keeps doing it. Let's just say that.
Conversation need to be.
It's on Harbaugh to say, listen, we need to run the ball. If a run play is called, don't check out of it so many times.
Chris, I'm gonna tell you what happens. So if that keeps happening, any coach with some balls is gonna say he's gonna go to Lamar. Quit changing the effing play. It's gonna be just like that. He's gonna throw some over his face, so it won't seem like he
real quick
changing the effing play, or he's gonna be like, "Run what's called."
Or hey, you need to trust me here. Run the ball. You'll have your opportunity.
I agree. Lamar should have freedom to change plays. That's part of maturation as a QB. But if you constantly changing and it's constantly getting stuffed or constantly ain't working,
right?
Hey, I'm gonna get fired here. You ain't. You just signed a gazillion year contract for $15 million. I'm getting fired. You ain't. You need, hey,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Some got to shake, cuz.
and let's just say the run game is not working. Let's say you get 2 yards every carry. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I'm still running that ball 15 times at least.
Make it
That's
keep
what the Chiefs were getting.
Just to keep the defense honest.
The Chiefs were getting that. Isaiah Pacheco had 24 carries. I think it was.
Like
that's
what
and
do.
like Chris, that's 2.8 yards a carry. So that's exactly what you're saying, Chris. Exactly what you're saying, because you got to respect the run, and now you got.
I mean, if you don't get that, then you just don't get footballing and keeping the team honest. You're making yourself one-dimensional. You're doing half of the job for the defense.
Mm-hmm. And the nature of the run game is 1-1-3 -1 25. Right. Like
we did a play
doing it to get those plays.
We did a play action. Bolton took one step and looked at it, and didn't even take no more steps like it was a for real. He was like, "Y'all ain't running." When got his drops. Before Lamar even gave the fake, Bolton took that one step and looked to see who and started dropping.
Hey, you know what though? PFF checking in here. Bolton did have the lowest grade of anybody on the field though. So.
and they were doing play action in the fourth quarter. It's like
you ain't established no run. What you play action in for? So,
by the way, in the fourth quarter, they still could have ran the ball.
Truth, facts.
Yes. Until that drive after Zay's fumble, you still had the option to run the ball. Maybe after that, you had to kind of throw it because you was down 2 scores. But that's a whole quarter and a half that you still could have been running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Only down 10. Only down 10 at half.
Yep.
At half. Only down 10. They didn't score not 1 point.
I tell you what, now it's a totally different animal on the end of this statement I'm finna make.
Uh-oh.
A totally different animal. But somebody was down 17-0 and kept running the ball.
How about that?
Yeah. You're welcome, San Francisco.
I agree. I agree.
What about throwing
nobody
the ball?
is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is a totally different beast.
Thanks.
But it's just the philosophy.
Yep.
I'm speaking in philosophy, not players right now.
Hey,
they were down 17-0 and still was running the ball.
Look, hey, coach, did they win that game?
Yes, they did.
Oh, wow.
Getting Chris McCaffrey is in line with their philosophy. We want to be a running team. Yeah. Let's get the best running back we could possibly get.
And that's what I was saying. Like that plays into it too, because when you have Christian McCaffrey, you say, "Well, we got to give the ball to Christian still." If you have Derrick Henry, or Josh Jacobs, or Saquon, whoever, or Jonathan Taylor, you say, "Hey, well, we have to give the ball to this guy." Mm-hmm. You don't. There's never a point where you say we have to give the ball to Gus or we have to give the ball to Justice.
Let me ask you this question, chat. Mm-hmm. So in coaching circles, when it gets nut cutting time, most coaches, the philosophy turns from think players, not plays. So who on the Ravens like skill set? Like what guy do you say, hey, throw it to that guy and he gonna get us what we need, or hand it off to that guy, he gonna get us what we need? And you can't say Lamar.
Yeah,
because Lamar can't do it all. He can't throw it to himself,
he can.
Let me finish my sentence. He can't throw it to himself and have 8 catches for 100 yards.
So he can do it once. Mariota-esque out there. You can do it once. And that's what we talked about. And I was hoping, maybe Mark Andrews coming back would be that kind of chain moving guy, the guy that he could rely on. But Mark didn't even play that much. Mark continued his playoff drops. But yeah, they don't have that guy. And we talked about it all season when everybody was saying, hey, every week it's somebody else. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for it to be somebody different every single week. You have to be able to rely on talented players, right? When it comes down to it in these kind of games, when you're playing the best in the league and you're playing in the conference championship or you're playing in the Super Bowl, you have to have answers, and the answers aren't schematic.
We knew Travis Kelce was going to get the ball. And at 9 out of those 11 passes, he was wide open.
And guess what? And he caught the one with your all-world safety draped all over him too.
I know.
Yep.
That was crazy.
And with our best corner over him too. A different one.
Yeah.
A different one. Yeah. Brandon Buck dropped 5. Appreciate you, Buck. He said, who would you rather running back next season? Mitchell and a rookie from the 2024 draft, or throw the bag at Henry. I'm not throwing the bag at Henry. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
Saquon.
throwing the bag at Saquon or Josh Jacobs.
I don't think
Why
he's getting the
keep-
bag.
Yeah, no,
the bag at Henry's $4 million, but no, just
Saquon. Why does everybody keep bringing up Derrick Henry? Saquon's going to be available,
and Josh Jacobs.
and Josh Jacobs. Yeah,
I throw the bag at those two, but if Henry want to strike a a friendly deal to compete for the
Yeah, I
the
think
Super
a nice
Bowl,
$4 million.
yeah. But yeah. I'm like I said, I gave a list earlier. I kicked the tires on Derrick Henry, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Swift, and Tony Pollard. I've kicked the tires on those guys and see what they want.
Once again, look, I got a question. Why is everybody so dependent upon a second-year player that played in a handful of games and we don't even know if he's going to be healthy next year? Just like Andrew Voorhees. We don't know if Voorhees. We talking about Keith Mitchell.
it's not like Andrew Voorhees. Voorhees never took the
What
field.
I'm saying. No, but what I'm saying is
Mitchell made some
Right.
some plays for you to get excited about, but you can't hang your head on that.
Yeah,
But why
he's not going. Well, we got
Yeah.
time. He on a 3-year deal. So
right, but why are we so dependent upon thinking Keith Mitchell going to come in and save the day next year? We don't even know when he's going to play.
Exactly.
what back we have that's not mid, Deuce?
Right.
What back we have that's not mid?
I think
Justin
Tony,
Justice.
but I think Tony Pollard had 1,000 yards though.
2 years in a row.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
He took Zeke's job.
Who did that on the Ravens?
We could have used Tony Pollard yesterday.
Right.
Even just to not bobble the passes like Justice Hill was doing.
My thing is with
On his
Justice Hill.
forehead.
Yeah, I think that was more so a terrible throw. The ball should have went to the other side. But my thing with Justice Hill was the pass pro. His pass pro was atrocious.
But coach, who takes blame for that? We've known this all season long, but yet and still he keeps getting put in these situations in during pressure times to have to do it, and we know he's not capable of it. But they keep making him do it.
Yep.
For a team,
Why Cook ain't getting no burn?
because Cook's not good.
Neither is Gus, in your opinion.
No, he's not. And Gus didn't get any burn either. So
for a team that wants to be the top running team in the league year in and year out, you want to run the ball and play defense. Why are we so adverse to getting a top end running back?
And stop letting Lamar be the team leader in rushing.
Right.
We'll win the Super Bowl when we have a running back that runs more than Lamar.
Yep.
Throw that out there. When we get a back that has more yards than Lamar, we're gonna be extremely dangerous. And even though Lamar yards this year didn't necessarily come on so many quarterback runs, they came off scrambles, but still we need a back to hit 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Or a combination of two backs to hit 1,200 yards.
That's not JK. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, Firelink. That's not. You keep saying JK. That man can't stay healthy.
it's
not
not
him.
because he's so talented.
He's a nice
So
guy.
he
too.
is. He is. And he's likable. I like JK, but
like
the proof is in the pudding, man. This is his 3rd year, 4th year.
This will be his
Fourth.
This is 4th year.
And he had no complete seasons. Well, the first season they didn't play him to the end.
right.
Then second season hurt. Third season, played a little bit, had to have a surgery to clean up some stuff, played toward the end. Then last year got hurt again. Well, this year got hurt again.
This year.
Because you look at like Christian McCaffrey in Carolina, and he missed he signed that contract, and my man went straight to PTO. But he didn't have any major injuries. You know, like it was a lot of nagging stuff and everything. But JK
He was Kadarius Toney.
Wow.
Hurt but not hurt.
Kadarius guy, he got some other issues. But JK's had just major injuries the last couple of years, and I don't know if you certainly can't rely on it. You know,
No,
you can't rely on
that
him.
be your plan going into the season.
No.
On who?
JK, he can't be
They can't be
your
number
plan.
one. No,
Yeah.
he can't be number one. Keaton can't be your number one. Keaton
No,
can be a
because
change of pace.
you don't know when he's going to be back. And like what Hendo was saying, like people just writing that in pen, and it's like that's not how these injuries work. Like you can say like, oh yeah, he'll be back at the start of the season. We don't know that. Like he doesn't know that yet. Like
And even if he did, like he's a 14 touch a game player, even in college.
And max, because his frame can't hold up to 20, 25 carries.
And even if it could, they wouldn't give him that anyway.
Yeah, go get a top running back, man.
Yeah,
if that's what y'all want to be. Get a running back,
or and follow me on this. Hear me out on this. fire your fucking coach and be a modern offense and get some receivers.
Yeah,
And don't try to be the best rushing team in the history of the NFL. It gets easier every year, right? Because nobody else is trying to do that shit.
We want Lamar to be pass, but we don't want to pass.
Right.
I did have a comment somebody wanted me to mention. This was a little while ago when we were talking about receivers. George Pickens had 1,000 yards playing with baby hands.
Okay, Shug.
And you could have had George Pickens. So,
y'all already know how I feel about that.
Okay, Shug.
Didn't we talk about that last show?
Y'all already know how I feel about that.
I'm getting the message, so I figured I had to put it out. So
Sugar, the season over with. We all in Cancun, so ain't no hate, buddy. No hate.
Yeah.
Ain't no hate. We all in Cancun.
Somebody tweeted me today and told me David Ojabo was going to come out killing next season.
Like
next season?
Okay, all right, on to quarterbacks.
Like clockwork.
like Ray Lewis or like TJ Watt.
Ooh,
which kind of
like Derek White.
That's cold blooded. Quarterbacks, and we kind of been talking about them on off and on. I'm gonna simply say this: Lamar had a heck of a run from the bye week on, and I think he deserves the MVP because of the way he played. Then he just had some bad decisions, some bad execution, and that on top of the bad play calling, on top of the situational awareness from the coaches, makes it look more like it's his fault. But I don't think as much of it is his fault as is being projected.
Right.
I just think he did have some short throws and some bad decisions. Like Likely's pass was a bad decision and a bad throw, even though it should have been pass interference, but it still was a bad decision and a bad throw.
You don't think you should just toss it up to Likely when he puts his hand up?
No. Likely can't see the safeties. All he saw was the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
He can't see the safety running right behind him.
Likely would have put his hand up even if he could see the safety. Like he's like, just give me the ball.
He doesn't have enough experience to say, hey, when I put my hand up, don't be the ball.
Yeah. You can't.
But I don't think he was bad as people making it.
Right.
But he definitely did not have a good game. He definitely did not have a game that we were accustomed to seeing this past 2 months of football.
Right.
No, Lamar had an okay game. He had a terrible throw on that interception, a terrible throw on the other pass that should have been intercepted.
Yes.
He made a few plays.
And everything.
He made a few plays here and there. And then the rest of the day was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lost the game. We didn't put up a lot of points, so they're gonna say he played terribly.
Right.
If everything was the same, other than Zay Flowers holding onto the ball, crossing the end zone, we go to overtime and winning in overtime, we wouldn't be saying he played a terrible game. We'd be saying Lamar played, okay at best, or he's solid, he's solid, whatever, right? So, no, he wasn't terrible. He wasn't good, but he wasn't terrible. And look, man,
Now I do agree with this.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Especially when you have a guy like Chris Jones on the other side.
Yes. Absolutely. But again, coaching, right? As many times as they were blitzing us, as quickly as they're getting to us, Jose Hendo will never hold Ada accountable. All right, well, maybe you weren't listening, right?
Or ever listened.
People just like you want to talk just to talk. That's fine, but again, when you have a team that's blitzing you, where are the plays to get the ball out of his hands quickly?
Right. There were few and far between. They blitzed so much, and there were a lot of times there were no check down. Like Lamar be getting ready to run because either some offensive lineman missed or they sent more than we could block, and all the receivers still run down the field, ain't broke down yet.
I'm glad you unsubscribed, Malik. Yeah, good.
Yeah, man, get the fuck on. Nobody care.
Hold on. There you go. I tried that tier for.
I want to be important today.
Yeah. And you unsubscribe and you here watching. We'll find something to do, bro.
The thing about this,
you sit here watching 3 people that you don't like,
right?
The thing,
get a life.
The thing about this is that's why we have it, because everybody don't see it the same. And if you can't get your point across and not take it personal, Because the thing, what you need to realize, what all of us need to realize is the Baltimore Ravens ain't doing nothing for none of us.
Right.
Like somebody asked me earlier why I'm not mad at something. Because I gotta go to work. I got a real job. Am I mad we lost the game? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. Do I like? Am I still gonna be a fan? Yes. I saw people saying they not a fan no more until they get rid of Harbaugh.
That's terrible.
I'm still a fan of my team.
This
ain't life or death. This is just football. This ain't life or death.
You want us to react like a toddler. Oh, Lamar is terrible. He's garbage, right?
But he's not.
He's not garbage, right? We sat here and talked about the things he did wrong. Coach did a whole stream earlier breaking down, what he did.
Yep.
Right. We spent 4 hours talking about the whole game, but all you want to focus on is the times we didn't talk about Lamar and talked about everybody else, in particular the coach. I don't know what your guys' infatuation is with John Harbaugh. I don't know.
He does no wrong.
Yeah. You can't tell me anything that he does great.
And I hold everybody accountable over here. I've been calling Lamar hater so much. When Lamar was not playing up the standard, and I would call it out. This thing was flooded with hate. Because I'm a Lamar hater. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just hate him, but I'm like, bro, because there's so many people that guzzle Lamar. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody deserves blame in this game.
Everybody.
And we haven't got to the main blame people yet.
Right.
Just because we've been talking, we haven't got to the main blame persons yet. We're gonna get there in just a second.
Now I don't even know if I want to say what I was gonna say about Lamar now.
let me answer this from KP.
I don't even know if I wanted to say it now.
He said, I wonder why Lamar didn't turn on the Jets on 4th and 1 in our own territory at the beginning of the game. That could have been a touchdown, probably. I will say this. We all know, well, I know, some of y'all probably gonna say this hating too. When Lamar bulked up, he lost a step.
Yeah, he's not as fast.
But again, the person that was chasing him was probably their fastest DB. That was Snead.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't just finna run away from Snead.
Yeah, I think he's trying to preserve some energy too.
Yeah, he wasn't just finna run away from Snead. So, had that been what was the safety name, number 23?
Tranquil?
If that was Tranquil, he ran away from him. But that was had a touchdown. That was a cornerback.
Lamar would have had a receiving touchdown. I fully believe that. If that line was it a linebacker or was it?
That was Tranquil.
Oh, it was Tranquil.
It was Tranquil.
If Tranquil doesn't hustle up, I think that's a touchdown because Lamar was going full speed.
Wasn't he?
Because he ran away from Reed.
I thought he was gone.
I did too. I did too. But I mean, you just have to respect everybody's opinion, and because this thing burst from a difference of opinion. And look at us, 2 seasons later.
Yeah.
I got a question though too. Like, why don't y'all ever ask why don't Gus or Justice or Rashad or Odell run away from somebody and score? Why don't y'all ever ask about that?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, you guys do yourself a favor and check out social media and national media for a couple of weeks because
that's who killing Lamar.
Yeah.
We ain't killing him. We just, spitting facts. The national media, like Shannon was on y'all neck yesterday. I made a tweet like, let that man. Y'all
it's funny because
on y'all skin.
It's because he was on Lamar's nuts just a few days ago.
Right.
Yep.
Even picked him to win.
Yep.
He's saying that stuff because he don't want y'all to come watch. What's it called? Nightcap.
Whatever.
Nightcap. And it's a cool show. That, I like them more, and I don't watch. I just see the clips. I don't watch it because it'd be too long.
They're cool.
I like when they just talking, when they not talking about sports. That's the good part. That's the funny part to me. When him and Ocho just talking about life. But all right. Drum roll, please.
You want me to get my opinion about Lamar?
Yeah, I didn't go about Lamar either.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
You said you know what you want to say, Hendo. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I don't want to say. I just didn't want to say it because I didn't want to make it seem like I'm saying I'm pandering to people.
No,
but for me, so for me, Lamar did not have a bad game yesterday, and I think that people overlook. And I watched it again when he ducked out of that tackle and threw that strike to Zay Flowers in the end zone. Nobody gives him credit for that throw. Like that was an amazing throw under duress. But I will say, as amazing as that play was, that was a boneheaded move because we did the same because we killed Jordan Love at the end of the Niners game when he threw in the triple coverage. And the same thing is for Lamar. Like, it was a dumb throw. I give it to you. It was certain throws that he should have made. And there were a lot of times, and I know I've been saying this all season long, I don't like Lamar running, but there were a lot of times where Lamar had wide open field and he should have taken that run and gotten the yards, got down, moved on to the next play. But he's trying to prove something to somebody. But the thing that I thought about today that I need Lamar to do next season going forward, I need Lamar to step the fuck up. And I don't mean as in his play. I mean as in his leadership. Because Lamar, you know yourself, you can audible. And I'm not saying he didn't audible, because I saw times where he did checks and he did kills and everything like that. But there are times when Lamar needs to say, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm going to call the plays that I'm going to call that's going to get us to work. And if things aren't working, go to Harbaugh, go to Monken, and be like, just like he did last week at halftime. The same exact formula happened. They blitzed us. We didn't know what to do. Last week, the only difference was we came out and made adjustments in the second half. Why? And I can't say Lamar didn't, but why I need Lamar to be more vocal when it comes to the coaches and be like, yo, what we doing ain't working. We've tried this playoff after playoff after playoff. Let's turn the page and try something different. So I need vocally for him to do just a little bit more, even though I know he's doing a whole lot for this team.
Agree, Chris?
I didn't think he played that well. I mean, there's a certain level I expect from him, and I don't think he hit that. I think he was rushed all through the game, like just mentally. He was rushing through things in the game, and he wasn't playing relaxed. He wasn't playing, and this is early on in the game. This is not like, oh, he's been getting hit a lot. Like, there was a play early on where Andrews is open, and he doesn't throw it, and he just drifts back, and it's like normal. I was about to say LeBron. Normal Lamar, I think he makes that throw. But I think in these situations, like, I just think he puts too much pressure on himself to be perfect instead of just playing, because he doesn't look like normal Lamar, like in some of these big time spots. And, you know, we're going to get to coaching, because I have my, we're coaching.
I know exactly what play you're talking about too, Chris.
But it's like, when the plays are there to be made, you got to make them, you know, especially when you're the MVP, two-time MVP, you know, and, you know, you got to be better than that. And, you know, that's not even talking about the interception. Like, you can't make that throw. Like, you just cannot. And I need Lamar for next year. Like, don't prove critics wrong. Don't listen to critics, because even if you win the Super Bowl, they're going to find something. They're going to find something. Like, they don't like, don't give a shit about the critics or the haters or whatever the fucking the narrative is. Like, you just got to play ball. Don't, oh, I'm a pocket quarterback. I don't want to be a runner. Nah, fuck all that. You be you. Be who you've been. You know, obviously take those steps to make that next progression in being a great quarterback, but don't listen to that outside noise. Play your game and stop putting the whole world on your shoulders in these big time moments.
Exactly. We don't need him to do the hero stuff. Every now and then we might need a hero play, but you don't have to be Superman.
And that's fine. Those hero plays, that's what makes him good. That's what makes him and Mahomes and Josh Allen, that's what makes them great quarterbacks. But you got to pick and choose the times when to do that. You can't do it when the game is on the line. You got to just take the easy stuff when you can. I mean, the same thing with Josh Allen. You know, we spoke about that last week. If he takes Diggs crossing over the middle of the field, they might have been playing yesterday.
Short a field goal.
But he went for the touchdown throw, and, you know, whatever the lineman ran into him, whatever, Chris Jones again being a menace, and, you know, it fell short. So you gotta know when you could put that cape on, and when you just have to take what the defense gives you, which is what Tom Brady made a killing of.
That's what Mahomes did yesterday.
Patrick, that's the progression that Mahomes had to take, where, all right, you know what? These teams are starting to give me the cover two looks. You know what? I'm just going to start taking these underneath throws. And that's the progression that you got to take. And I think Lamar did a good job as a whole throughout this season of doing that more. But in these big moments, it's like he wants to be perfect, and you can't play like that. You just gotta be you.
Yep.
But the thing about that though, Chris, is just taking what the defense gives you and not trying to be the hero, not putting it all on your shoulders, has to come with organizational support that they don't have in Baltimore.
Thanks.
You mentioned Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't have to put anything on his shoulders because they got Tom Brady the players who would make the plays that they needed to make.
Mm-hmm.
And Baltimore historically has not had that. And the results of the game show that he does have to be Superman for them to win.
Now let me throw this out there.
Just a rebuttal real quick, because I've seen Patrick Mahomes in this playoff go to Marquez Valdez-Scantling in big time moments.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times where you have to trust the guys on your teams to make the plays. Not saying that Lamar is like, oh, this is all on Lamar. Hell no, this is not all on Lamar. But when the plays are there, you got to make them.
Yep.
And that comes with trusting guys like Mahomes did. I mean, MVS has some terrible drops throughout this season.
Game losing drops.
Right.
And he's gone back to him in those in big time situations. And it's like you have to you gotta. I understand Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's not Tyreek Hill, obviously,
Right.
But you have to do what you can in order to keep going to those guys and in those pivotal situations, because at the end of the day, you can't do it all yourself. No matter how great you are, you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we see them attempt to do that in the past. Right. I mean, he went to Seth Roberts. It really worked out for him, right? But I think that it comes with experience in those big moments. The Pat Mahomes lost his first conference championship game. But this is the first one that both Lamar and the Ravens have been to. Unfortunately, we'll get to why that is in a minute. But I think you get back again and you play better, and you learn how to handle that stage and that pressure, and that goes for everybody on the team, not just Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
But you typically you don't win the first time you go to the biggest stage, right? Especially if you're playing somebody who's been there multiple times, because that the moment kind of does get to some people.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong in that he has to take those, what's there. But I think, like you said, it is a process. But the big thing for me in Baltimore is they have not helped the process along, but by surrounding him with talent that you would expect to see on a team who's playing in that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say this, B. And they now have the opportunity, because hear me out. We were under Roman. Offensively, we were run the ball, pound it, that type of game.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've transitioned to monkey. We kind of moved the roster. We tried to move the roster to a more spread modern roster.
Yeah.
Now this year right here, you have to complete that transformation to a different kind of offense. So this offseason, they have the opportunity to surround him with more talent, to get an O-line that's not necessarily a power running team. If we're going to be outside inside zone, you need more Linderbaum-ish type guys, and those Linderbaum-ish type guys will also help you with pass rushes too. So now they have an opportunity to transition this roster to what they want offensively. Whether they do that or not, that's yet to be seen. But this is a key offseason for them to show their competence.
I want to ask y'all
if they have competence.
I want to ask y'all something, Coach, and Chris especially, because y'all break down tape. Y'all, you guys are the film gurus, right? Todd Monken, long term, like if he were to be our offensive coordinator for a long term, how you guys feel about him?
I don't have an issue with that, because I like the fact that he trusts Lamar. He gave Lamar some leeway to do what he needs to do as a line of scrimmage, and it's year 2, continuity matters. And to have a second year with him, I think the offense will look better. They'll be more on the same page with, like, if Lamar sees this, he needs to go to that. And I just think him here the second year, and even a third year will be even better. I just think continuity matters. I don't think he's at a point where he would outgrow Todd like he outgrew Roman, because Roman's offense was totally different. Go ahead.
So you think he can? I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, like prior to yesterday's game, I would have been like, oh yeah, like I'm ecstatic about it. But I don't like, I don't know. Like yesterday's game was just so confusing because it deviated so much from what we've seen throughout the season. Like it was the polar opposite. Like they were balanced during the year, and it just seems like I don't know if it was the big game, the pressure. Like I mean, like I said, Munkins coached in the national championship game, which I mean, it's obviously not the pros, but damn, like it was just strange to see this kind of play calling and to see it kind of last week too, like before the end of the half, like you see him trying to take these shot plays before the half, and they get sacked 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And
Last week.
Yeah, last week
Mhm.
against the Texans, like there's no options. Like you watch the tape, there's no options. Well, as far as the blitz is concerned, and then this is Steve Spagnuolo. Everybody knows what he's going to do. For the last 15 years, people know what he's going to do.
Baby, what was our
Greg?
coordinator we got rid of?
Wink Martindale.
Yeah, him and Wink Martindale, like Spider-Man meme.
I asked that because, like, he's obviously an upgrade from Giro. The offense did well this year, right? Yeah, I expect them to be even better next year and maybe even the year after that. But our passing wise, are we going to get to a point where we're on the level of like the Rams, like the Chiefs? Like are we going to get into these games where we know we're going to abandon the run and just look competent, throwing the ball, or look good, high level throwing the ball? I don't see that with Todd Monken. And again, I'm not even blaming it all on him, but this is why I just want the whole coaching staff to go, because for Lamar to be the best version of himself, I don't think it's going to be under this regime, and I'd rather get rid of him now so we can bring in the guy that's going to transition him to be that type of player. I just don't think it's going to happen under Harbaugh.
Hey Jose,
When you say staff, you mean everybody. I don't think everybody needs to go though.
But typically, when you fire the head coach,
I think it's one person voice that needs to. I think you need a guy that can help you either on one side of the ball or the other. And he can help us on. And I'm not saying John don't know no offense, no defense, but his background is special teams. I think you need a guy that can help you on one side or the other. So if Mike was to stay, we need a primetime offensive coordinator.
Okay,
if Mike leaves, we need a good defense coordinator and offensive coach.
Okay. So let's say in the offseason, EDC it's like the Gary Kubiak year. Hey, you don't have any say in the offense. This Tom Duncan gonna call it. Are you comfortable with that, or do you want to upgrade? I think you just said you want to get a better play caller. Is that what
the teams you mentioned, they run a certain type of scheme, and all them guys come from the fun. It's funny that RG3 got into it with Jay Gruden, but all those guys worked under Jay Gruden, so that's technically Jay Gruden's tree. Shanahan on the Jay Gruden's tree, but
it's funny how they pick and choose what tree you come from, right?
Because all them guys work for Jay Gruden in Washington.
That Jay Gruden tree doesn't
technically his tree.
They take it over the lead though.
Yeah, they are. So then they run a certain type of thing, but the key thing about their stuff is no matter how powered the Dolphins is, no matter how powered San Francisco is, and those other teams, they run the freaking ball. And they're committed to it. They under center, they running outside zone, they bashing your head with outside zone. Then they have creative stuff off of it. They plays build on each other. So, and I'm like somebody said a minute ago, Giro got 5 years? I'm gonna at least get Todd 2. At least. Because I think he'll have a whole year of tape to look at and see, okay, Lamar's good at this, Lamar's not good at that. And then so I need to design stuff that puts Lamar in better situations to do whatever he's good at.
And also the I think you said it earlier too, getting some of the groceries for his offense.
Exactly.
I think that's going to help, especially on the offensive line.
Defense, like you've been saying, that's going to help.
I don't think this is the kind of offensive line that he wants for his offense. I think he wants something a little bit different than this.
Yeah.
Because you got an aging Ronnie Stanley who is just I ain't gonna say he's a shell of himself, but he ain't what the money works out to be. Simpson, well, you know what Meg does. Linderbaum's a dog.
Yes.
Linderbaum's a dog, but Linderbaum can't. He can't do nothing with a Chris Jones. He got to have help. He just physically his body can't handle Chris Jones. But for everybody else, he's a dog.
We need more players on the line with that attitude.
Yeah, Zeitler's aging out. Zeitler was solid this year, but he's aging out. And then Morgan Moses is just a stopgap. But the people behind him, I'd rather have Moses in because I don't want to see Falele out there. So I mean, it is what it is.
He's less of a stopgap right now and more of like a levy.
Yeah, right. Because ain't nothing behind him to fill the gap up. Let's get into these coaches, man. That was good on the answer, Jose. From both
yes, yeah.
Let's get into the coach. I think Harb's bought himself another year because of the success of the team. But it shouldn't be that way because we had the team. We were clearly the best team in the NFL this year. Clearly. And we underperformed again. So you throw underperform out there and you put again on it. How many times have his teams underperformed? So when we don't have a good team and we lose, understandable. But we've had good teams good amount recently and underperformed. You just think about because NFL, you win the big game or you're out of there, correct? So we went 14-2, first round exit, right?
Yep.
The year Lamar. Now I understand the year Lamar was a rookie and we made it. Wasn't really no expectations, and we kind of got drugged that game, but had a chance to win that game.
Yes.
The next year, get the first round exit. No, did we make it the next year?
They lost the wild card and go ahead.
Go ahead, Hendo.
I'm sorry, 2020 we lost. We lost to Tennessee. No, we lost to
beat Tennessee
Bills.
and lost to the
beat
Bills.
Tennessee and lost to the Bills.
Lost to the Bills. So another failure. Then Lamar gets hurt the next 2 years. They will make it next year. I mean, you make it last year, but last year, what kind of expectations you really have with Snoop at QB?
Yeah.
And then this year, you obviously back to having the best team in the league, record-wise, and playing at a high level at the end of the year.
Right.
And you get in the playoffs, and we win one game. Yes, we do. But we were supposed to beat the Texans. Probably should not have been that close, but we're supposed to beat the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, we have a better roster than the Chiefs. They have one X factor that we don't, and he showed his butt. So when are you going to hold the man that's accountable for the entire thing accountable? So anything a player does up under, so it's a very few people that are above John Harbaugh. EDC, Ozzie, Bashadi. Everybody else under Harbaugh. So when stuff go wrong, he got to be blamed for it, and he keep getting excused.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the same story year in, year out, underperform. If I underperform as an NFL coach in year one, I know I'm up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So and he ain't really the 2012 team. That wasn't his team. That was Ray's team. Ray said, "I'm leaving." Ray said, "I'm leaving." Everybody took their game another level. Even Joe.
Joe played out of this world.
Even Joe. And when Ray left, Joe went back to being a Sunday school teacher.
This was Andy Reid back in Philly, right?
John Harbaugh from the Andy Reid tree.
Andy Reid got comfortable with Donovan McNabb because he knew he was going to be in the NFC Championship game every year, and he thought he was cool. He was safe, right? You made it to the Super Bowl, and then they said we need to make a change. And when he got to Kansas City, he said, "I'm never going to take this for granted again." Right? Everything that Pat Mahomes is doing now could have happened with Donovan McNabb had they put weapons around him.
Yep. Only weapon he ever got was T.O.
T.O. for 2 years or a year and a half. Right? Most of the time, his number one receiver is Todd Pinkston.
Yep.
Or Freddie Mitchell.
Southern Miss University, Todd Pinkston.
Yeah. He's on the staff too.
Who is now the running backs coach at Kansas City.
Yeah. They have another former receiver that's on the staff.
Greg Lewis.
Yeah.
Alligator arms.
Oh yeah, they used to play for McNabb, right? And that's one of the things that Andy Reid, when he got to Kansas City, said, "We're gonna change that up."
It's a goddamn shame that he got them on the staff getting rings, but he ain't hiring Donovan.
Right. The one guy he did dirty.
Got LaShawn McCoy a ring.
Nay Brown. Like,
Oh man,
I haven't seen a worse group of wide receivers that they put around Donovan McNabb, right? But the point is, Andy Reid learned from that, right? He got too complacent, and that's where John Harbaugh is right now. It's time for him to go, man. He's too complacent.
I got a question for everybody on the panel and chat. While we finish getting the coaching things, y'all listen close to me. Chat, put y'all answers in the comment section. Who's got it better than us? Okay, go ahead and talk about coaching.
You know, the thing for me with Harbaugh is, you know, a lot of Ravens fans continually defend Harbaugh and say, oh, you know, they blame the execution of the plays, you know, players making mistakes, which, you know, that happens with every team, even the teams who win the games make mistakes. But nobody can really tell me what Harbaugh does. Like you said, Coach, he doesn't, he's not a defensive guy. He's not an offensive guy. He doesn't even know what is happening on the offensive side of the ball most of the times, if you believe his answers in his interviews. And then so you would kind of think that, hey, you know, maybe he's one of those coaches where he's, you know, managing the personalities on the team, but he's not even that. You know, you had the mutiny during the Super Bowl year. They got so bad the team had to vote off Earl Thomas. And you had multiple players, you know, calling out Greg Roman and the coaching in public recently. So he's not doing that. He's not helping the offense. He's not helping the defense. And it's like, what would you say you do here? It's nothing. He doesn't do anything in Baltimore. And like right now, it might seem sudden because you're just in the conference championship game. You had the best team in the league, but there are still multiple good head coaching candidates available. Who
one on your 10 staff already?
Yeah, who just aren't going to get a job because there's only 2 openings left. You could fire him right now and transition into a much, you know, potentially much better coach immediately, and you wouldn't even have to have any kind of question or layoff or you know, rebuild or layoff or anything like that.
I got the perfect situation. Let him go run special teams in San Diego.
but the special teams keep getting worse.
Kendall,
Can't do
But it's because he can't focus.
San Diego with his brother. Let him go run. I mean, I said
LA.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let him go run special teams in LA with his brother.
I was thinking the same
and
thing,
leave Mike Hill.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time. I mean, look, Monken's his job is safe, but I'll be saying, hey, we gotta make a change here. We're going to bring in again Gary Kubiak here. We're going to bring in Eric Bieniemy. He's going to run the offense. You're not going to have any input on that. He's going to take care of that because we know Eric Bieniemy knows how to run the offense. He knows how to hold players accountable. He's going to get the most out of them, right?
I would love that, but I can't see getting rid of Tyler for 1 year.
I know they won't.
Yeah.
It would have to be an aggressive move. They could. I mean, we got rid of coordinators after 1 year before. All right. What's his name?
Mark Trestman.
It's tough to sell firing a coordinator when the quarterback about to win MVP.
Oh yeah, but it's the same thing. The first time Lamar got MVP, and we say get rid of Greg Roman, right? Nobody wanted to do it.
No, I don't know nobody said that after 2019. Maybe 2021. But after 2019, I don't know nobody said that.
2019
after Super Bowl year,
huh?
After Super Bowl year, I mean, not Super Bowl. Sorry,
No,
MVP
year.
Yeah,
On the way to the MVP.
Yeah. But you know the good thing, coaches, about that is you don't have to sell it. I thought that coach up in Cleveland was a lock almost for coach of the year to me, with winning 11 games, and getting to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He fired a bunch of dudes on his staff.
Sure did. Stump Mitchell, one of them, sure did.
Yeah.
He said, I know we succeeded. We had a wildly successful season against all odds, but get the hell out.
I mean, I said what I said. It can happen. Obviously, it can happen. Is it going to happen, or is it likely? No, but it definitely can happen. So I pull back on.
I don't think Todd's done anything to warrant being fired, but I mean, if you got to have some collateral damage, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree.
So are we talking about coaches in general, or just one specific coach right now?
And just all the coaches.
Okay, because I wanted to say this. I said this before the season. fuck we doing with Todd Monken? And I hate to say that. And my thing is this: I don't think Todd Monken's a bad offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a bad offensive coordinator. But when I looked at him, I looked at a guy that was like, he's not gonna give John Harbaugh any pushback. He's not.
They're not gonna hire a guy that's going to pushback. You know,
right? And I'm like, this is not what we need right now. And then when I saw a tweet, I don't know if it's real or not, but I saw a tweet or something talking about his wife said, "Why don't you just stick with the plays that work?" If your own wife is asking you this question, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now I got some notes here because I had to sit around all day and I think, and we have so many John Harbaugh supporters, and people are going to say, why should we fire John Harbaugh? John Harbaugh is one of the only coaches in NFL history that has the distinction of having two teams, 2019, 2023, to have MVP and all these in the offense, certain things happen to not win a Super Bowl. He's the only coach. Mm-hmm. And these are the only teams. Our offense was ranked number 4 in yards, in points, 4th and 6th in yards. Defense was ranked 1st in points, 6th in yards. That right there should get it. But this is the reason why, if anybody says, why should John Harbaugh be fired? Listen to this. And this is, to me, this is insanity. 2019, we had the best record in the league. We go into the first game against Tennessee Titans. We run Mark Ingram 6 times for 22 yards. We run Gus Edwards 3 times for 20 yards. Lose the game. You would think, hey, head coach.
How many times we throw that game? Like 50 something?
Close, yes, close to 56, I do believe. So you would think, all right, it happens, a mistake. We've never been in this position before. It's not going to happen again. Then we go to 2020. First game against Tennessee Titans. We run JK 9 times for 43 yards, Gus 8 times for 38 yards. If it wasn't for that run by Lamar at the end of the half, we might have lost that game. Then we go into the Buffalo game, and this is where it really starts to get murky for me. We go into Buffalo. It is inclement weather. The winds are crazy. What do? We go in a game passing. JK rushed 10 times, 42 yards. Gus Edwards 10 times, 42 yards. You say, all right, coach ain't learned his lesson. We're supposed to be this run dominant team, best running team in history. Number 1 each year that Lamar has been the quarterback of the team for a full season. Then we go to 2022. We go into the playoffs. Gus 13. This is with Tyler Huntley. We go into the playoffs against Cincinnati Bengals. We run JK 13 times, 60 yards. We run Gus 12 times for 39 yards. But yet still, Huntley, though. I was about to say, but yet still on a goal-to-go situation, and I think it was first down or second down. So we still had downs to go. From the 3-yard line, you run your quarterback instead of running these guys. So you say to yourself, hey, you as a head coach should say, all right, I've learned from these past few seasons, but no, we come into this playoff game and we have the number 1 rush team again, 156.5 yards per game rushing. We run Gus 3 times for 20, Zay 2 times for 4, and Justice 3 times for 3 yards. So when you say, why should we fire him? It's because he's not learning his lesson. And to me, I was a little upset about losing this game. And it got a little murky. Like I got low-key depressed for a little bit, but then I snapped back real quick. And the thing that made me more upset was everybody in the chat and Harbaugh talking about, yeah, we just got to come back better next year and do this again. And this is the same shit we've been saying since 2019. We just got to come back next year and do better. Why are we going to do better when you keep doing the same thing each and every year? We get in the playoffs and lose our identity and forget who the fuck we are. So what is the point of keeping a man around that doesn't learn from his own mistakes? And this is not 1 year. This is not 2 years. This is not 3 years. This is since 2019 in every playoff run. We forget to run the ball to win the game.
And everybody that, and I don't see anybody saying this, but anybody that don't think he's factual, Google is free.
Well, we have another
Google
stat.
is free. But that and Aaron said I was going to ask you he just spelled out the definition of insanity. Doing the same stuff over and over.
You say B?
No, I was gonna say he's been a head coach for a long time. He's the second longest tenure, and I don't want to say that people should ever stop learning. I think you always learn and grow and evolve and all that. But this seems like a pretty goddamn elementary lesson that he should have learned maybe in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a Super Bowl winning head coach shouldn't have to be learning this particular lesson after 6 years of trying to get it right.
Look, the most damning stat of all, and we said it here before, is in the history of the NFL, no head coach and quarterback combo has won a Super Bowl if they haven't done it within their first 5 years.
Thanks.
This is year 6 with Lamar and Harbaugh. This is their best chance. This is their best chance to do it. History says it's likely not going to happen with Harbaugh.
Yep.
Yeah, it says it's time to go.
Let me hit this right quick. Have you watched Kurt Warner's critique of Lamar's offense all season as a direct reflection of Todd Monken too? Yes, I have watched them. And what Kurt Warner doing in our culture is called sneak dissing.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, yes, the offense is this, but it's clunky, and he's sneak dissing. And I almost ran it early on in the earlier video about this. Kurt Warner he's critiquing Lamar, and he should. That's his job.
Yeah.
But he's saying back end stuff that Lamar, should be a certain way because that's all he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Warner, he gets on here and he's in the Hall of Fame and he talks down sneakily about Lamar and a few other guys. But fair to mention, if Lamar had the talent Kurt Warner had with him, like you had 2 Hall of Fame receivers, you had one of the best
running back.
Hold on. One of the best offensive linemen, to ever play in pace.
Lando Pace.
Decent. And then think about another guy he had Azahir Hakeem. Probably the fastest dude I ever seen in the NFL next to Dion. And like they were just saying, the running back. Marshall Faulk got you 1,000 and 1,000 in the same year.
And he had Ricky
1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards passing in the same year. All Kurt had to do was poop the ball to Marshall Faulk.
And Mike Martz.
And Mike Martz, a strong offensive mind.
Yeah, we call that the Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Thank you, B. Thank you. Thank you, B. Thank you.
And then he got to follow it up with Larry Fitzgerald.
I mean, look, I don't want to say he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, because y'all know me, I'm not a hater. But my man was straight up ass in New York, and for a good stretch in Arizona as well. Yeah, and I never seen Hall of Fame players look that bad while they're still supposed to be Hall of Fame players.
Yeah,
but whatever.
All right. Yeah, wrap it up. I said all I need to say. I'm good. I got it all out. Like I listened to everybody rant yesterday because, like I said, y'all went 4 hours. I did 7. You did.
You did. Yeah.
So I listened to everybody rant and everybody got it off their chest. And today was my way to get it off my chest. And actually watching the game, because I did the entire offense. I normally do like a quarter here or a half. I did the entire offense today. But I'm out. I'm good, and it's on to next year. And again, keep as much as we like our team, they ain't doing nothing for none of us.
Nah.
We all got regular jobs or whatever we got to do the next day. Don't stress about this stuff, man. Don't stress about this stuff, and don't be like the dude that paid $73,000 to go to this game too.
73,000.
Yes, he bought 2 tickets. What it is, he won some money gambling, and then he won 76 gambling and spent 73 on 2 tickets.
73,000. If I'm playing the 73,000, I better be on Roquan's back like this the whole game for 70,000.
You should have been able to hit a button on your chair and be like, Tyler, I'm taking over. I'm calling.
Right. Hey, Lamar, run the ball.
4 birds all day. Let's go.
So
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Are the Baltimore Ravens the AFC version of the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
You ever seen the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship? In their lifetime? Your lifetime, yes.
My lifetime, yes.
Hey, I was a freshman in college the last time Dallas won the Super Bowl.
Mitch, the answer to that is because you don't actually have.
I think I was a freshman in high school.
I just started middle school.
Yeah, come on, all right now.
You're right.
All right now, Hendo. What money making me say? My problem is why we lose our identity. People are questioning Dan Campbell, but at least Dan Campbell sticks.
Yeah, your identity is.
We don't have no identity, right?
Well, I have no identity.
It's supposed to be the run. The stats say we are a running team. That was the stats.
But the film and your playoff performance is scared. It says you're just a scared team.
I saw somebody, one of the pundits, and I happened to catch this. They said, and it might have been Mina. They said, no, it wasn't Mina. When you get to the playoffs, no matter what the situation is, you can't play scared.
Yep.
No.
You can't play conservative. Conservative teams go home.
And that's what they.
No, it might have been. That was Kim said that. Kim the lady that said something about Cam Newton.
No.
Yeah, Kimberly Martin.
Martin, that
Oh.
was she said that. When you get in the playoffs, you can't be conservative. You got to go for it, no matter what the situation is. Because them the teams that move on, with the exception of Dan Campbell. That was just too much go.
Yeah, and that's why I don't mind what Dan Campbell did. You know, like I'm a big proponent of being aggressive in all things in the NFL because most teams are complacent. Most teams are overly conservative. You know, I mean, maybe dial it back just a tad, but you know, like just in general, go for it, be aggressive, and attack.
Right?
Because you know that's how winning really ain't that hard if you just try to do it.
Yep.
But most teams don't.
We
A lot
do.
of
We
people
do.
play not to
do it.
lose.
We do it in the regular season.
Yeah.
And you just got to be you. Like it's like a fight, right? Like let's say if you're a technical fighter, right? You don't really have a bunch of speed. You don't really have a bunch of power. You're a technical fighter, right? Let's say you get knocked down in the first 2 rounds. Then you just start swinging haymakers. That's basically what the Ravens did. They started just throwing haymakers. That's not you.
Yep.
You know, if you stay the course and just keep your composure and, you know, you just jab your way out of it, you know, keep your distance, you get your points here and there, you can, at the end of the fight, you could still possibly win that. Like at the end of the fight, you still probably be on top at the end of the scorecard. But
and who knows? You get a chance to land that haymaker late.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when you have a playmaker like Lamar, you can do that. Like, and look at what Lamar and Zay did yesterday. Like, you can land that haymaker, but when you're forcing it, that's not who you are. Like that's being completely out of your element. So stay who you are. But I mean, do I have the like the conviction that they'll be able to do that? Let's say if they get into this spot next year. I don't have that conviction because they haven't showed me that they can keep their composure and stay the course when things get tough in big games.
And the problem for Baltimore, I think, too, is you know, to keep your analogy, like their identity or their you know, who they are as that technical fighter, you know, the jab and move kind of thing. Their jab is their run game, and their jab is mediocre, and they just don't trust it. Now go and you know. Make your jab Saquon Barkley, and jab the hell out of the rest of them for the rest of that fight.
And to what B is saying, because people will be like, oh, their run game isn't weak. It is weak when you just take the running backs. The running backs. That's the issue. Is the running backs. We want them to be the vocal point of the run game.
Yep.
Not Lamar. Obviously, you want Lamar to have his legs and, you know, use them the way that he does. But it's the running backs themselves. It's the run game itself that has to be able to perform independently without Lamar having to get it going.
And the O-line. And you know, not that they were terrible, but you know, upgrade the O-line.
Yeah, you have to.
All right. That's the final word. The Chiefs will keep hogging the Super Bowl, man. Need to pass it. hey, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I thought this was that year to pass it, but it's fine. And we've mentioned this guy, but 15's that deal.
Oh, yes. No doubt.
15's that deal. And last week I was like, it's Lamar, Pat, and everybody else. I got to push back. It's Pat, then everybody else.
Right now, yeah.
It's still Lamar, Pat.
No, I'm not saying Lamar trash, but just
no, I know
the evolution of Pat. Like he realized,
the whole package around Pat is better than the whole package around Lamar, but as individuals, it's still
I think the package above Pat is what makes him a lot better than the package because the players I don't think they better than Lamar. Better than the Ravens, but Andy is the Jolly Green Giant, and Harbaugh is the Lil P that's in the can.
But no, I think Travis Kelce's better than anybody who plays in Baltimore. Isaiah Pacheco is better than any of the running backs in Baltimore. I think their O-line is better than the O-line in Baltimore, right? Now, defensively, I think Baltimore's probably, they're better overall talent-wise. Yes. But I'm saying, like, if you look at the entire organization, coaching and everything included, the package around Pat is just a lot better than what is around Lamar. But as individual talents, I think it's those two and everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying because Pat, like, like just to
He don't be
just to
losing.
see what he did with Tyreek and to lose that weapon and still like there's no drop off in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And again, like somebody mentioned earlier about trusting them guys, MVS had 2 big catches in 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
So it is what it is, man. I'm done. Y'all can close it out. If you got anything else to say.
We're gonna close it out like this. The Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs are Joel Embiid going up to Denver to play Nikola Jokic.
Bruh.
Oh, here we
Don't
go
come
with
out
the
till
NBA
halftime.
talk. Here we go with the NBA talk. I go on for 2 more hours if we start talking NBA.
We'll talk about Embiid another time, but that was some girly stuff right there.
Why got to be about the Panthers? Why don't you put Lamar or Pat Mahomes on the Ravens? Y'all can't win shit.
What? Who said?
Why got to be about the Panthers? Ex Capital.
Oh,
It's not nice.
Unfriendly. Y'all shooting it? Y'all shooting this week?
Who?
Chris.
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
I was looking at everybody else. I'm like, are they shooting this week? I don't know. We haven't talked about it. We've been crying in our little group chat, so I don't know. Mike said he might be putting a video out too. So he might be doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Check on my timeline. Chris is joking on Twitter.
Gotcha. And Deep Color Pod is the pod. You see it behind him. Matter of fact, let me throw you a little what's called up there real quick. There, bam. There it is right there. That's their podcast. They may or may not. It's to be determined. What is it? To be determined. Just following and see. TBD. And so we know these other guys streaming. That's why I asked them. We just gotta confirm it. Endo.
Oh, yes, sir. You find me on the Rogue Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also find me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. during a live stream. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. with Mr. Galloway on Electric Relaxation. Mr. Galloway talking all things hip hop. And as far as Raven stuff, I don't even know, man. We get it when we get it, man. To be honest with you, we get it when we get it. I'm so dejected.
Snap out of it.
Coach, I can't because for years I've been a Ravens fan. And there's only been 2 seasons.
Look what I got.
Yes, sir. Let's go. It's the Rock, baby. It's the Rock. There's only been 2 seasons in the Ravens history where I actually sat back and said, we're going to win the Super Bowl. There are times I've thought that it's a possibility, but there have been 2 times I thought, yo, we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm sitting back like, yo, we got this. And both times they've let me down. Like, it hurts. It hurts. And I hurt so hard.
It hurts real bad to get to the end of the season and find out either like if you one of those buy-in fans that your players aren't who you thought they were, or if you're like me and you're watching and you're like, I knew Ted Ginn and Gerald Cotchery weren't who I thought they were or who y'all thought they were. But it's real depressing to think, hey, even though they're kind of frauds, we could still win this, you know, and then it doesn't happen. It's awful.
Yeah, to me, the most hurtful part is because let's just say Mahomes just continues what he does in the first 2 drives. Let's just say that keeps going on and the Ravens battle back, and you lose that way, like fighting. But to lose where you only give your running back 6 carries, like that shit just like
it felt like they weren't even really trying.
Yeah,
I wanted to beat this shit out of Tom Monken yesterday. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, you mean this team outside of Tyler Huntley game and the game against the Texans averaging 12.8 points per game in the postseason, but y'all still want to draft defense and we can't score more than 13 goddamn points? Like, yo, come on. Like, shit is ridiculous. And I put that on the head coach because he allows it to happen year after year. And y'all want to say, but John Harbaugh's the best. He's a Hall of Fame and he's got 150 something wins and he's just this and he's just that. He don't do nothing. He keeps high. Listen, my thing. He brought, and I believe it too. Man, we just had another 5 minutes. I was just about to start running the ball.
I was just about to start running.
Just about to start running the ball, and they had to put 000 on the clock. What they doing? I hate you. Listen, and I lied to you not. And people, and the problem with a lot of Ravens fans is when we speak about this in John Harbaugh, they think that we're just talking about one game. It's a culmination of things. I've been asking for John Harbaugh to be fired since January of 2012. During the Super Bowl run, I'm like, fire this motherfucker tomorrow. while we're going to and winning the Super Bowl. And I've done that every year since. And yet and still, here we are in 2024, I'm sorry, going into the next season with the same issues that we've had since we've got him. And I hate to be that person, and I'm not trying to be an ageist, but you look at these younger coordinators that these teams are hiring and how innovative they are and how they're doing certain things. Even look at Mike McDonald. He's a younger defensive coordinator. Look at the things that he's doing because he's doing things differently. He's not the status quo. But yet still, we keep with this head coach to keep hiring these 55, 60-year-old offensive coordinators and expect them to take a quarterback that is young and dynamic, something that the NFL has never seen before, and do something with him. It doesn't make sense to me because I look at, and it hurts a little bit, maybe not this year, and I know Brian got something to say, but maybe not this year, but look last year what they did with Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts' talent level is nowhere near compared to Lamar's. Look what they did with him because they had that young offensive coordinator to maximize his ability. We don't have people, and nor do we bring in people that do that. We want to run John Harbaugh's system because he's an egomaniac. It's all about his ego. So when things go right, he can say, look what I did. But when it goes wrong, it's like, Lamar, maybe next time.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. What you mean? Like,
You hate Philly.
No, this is your point. That young, brilliant offensive coordinator propped up that fraud all year. Got them to the Super Bowl. Had everybody thinking, oh, he could be an MVP. Oh, look, Jalen just took the money. What's wrong with you, Lamar? Well, you see, Jalen's a fraud.
Jalen's not a fraud. All right, I'm gonna end it with some on a positive note. All right, okay. Look, we were one of 4 teams left. Right, we made it to the Final Four. All right, disappointing, but it's not 2019. Now you're gonna have a lot of people throwing shade. You got some of you even in the chat. They're gonna take shots at Lamar. They're gonna be talking about, oh yeah, the Chiefs own you and all that stuff. But they're not Chiefs fans. They're just Lamar haters. Okay, their team was eliminated a long time ago.
Thanks.
Okay, and next year when we run it back, we're gonna dominate their teams again. All right, there's only a handful of teams that we have to contend with, and more than likely, those haters out there, they're not fans of those teams. All right. And next year, I expect us to be right back here. We're going to be in the hunt. We're going to be at worst, in the divisional round. But I expect us to be right back in the AFC Championship game next year. We have the talent to do it. I'm not worried about what we lose on defense. We have enough talent staying. And if EDC is the GM that everybody says he is, he's going to bring in the talent on offense to keep us competitive. So the expectation is high next year, and I do believe if we don't get it done next year, Harbaugh is definitely gone because then there's absolutely nowhere you can go with Harbaugh at that point, right? We're still hanging on to the first year with Todd Monken, we'll get better. First time in the AFC Championship game with Lamar, we'll get better. Next year, you're all in, and if you don't get it done, and that's Super Bowl, nothing less. If you don't get it done, we have nowhere else to go with you, Harbaugh. So expectations still high next year. We're gonna have another amazing year next year. I truly believe that.
All right, and this list is up there. We're not even talk about it just to show y'all the people that's possibly gone because of their free agents. But Jose B, let them know where they can find his work.
Yes, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow that up with the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT Show. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and Blue Sky at LBHT Show. Also, we do a boxing channel with our guy OTR Mike, Ring Kings Podcast. They would be and Mike would tell you it's the best boxing podcast out there. Just don't fact check that. Okay. Also, speaking of OTR Mike, he's not here today. He's doing his coaching thing. You missed him last few weeks. It's going to be a couple more weeks, but he's wrapping up his basketball season. All right. So salute to OTR Mike, OTR Quan, OTR Brandon. Okay. They're doing salute to them.
So Mike, if you're watching, when you come back, we need at least some stories.
Yes.
Some stories that you can share. Because coaching, a lot of stuff happens that you can't share. Some stories that you can share.
Go subscribe to his channel, Open Mic with OTR Mike. It's where the mic is open for any conversation, no matter where it is, who it is or what it is. I'm sure I got that order wrong, but that's you get the point. All right. Man, subscribe to all of us, man. You know, we all have goals here. We're all putting out dope content. It's all a little bit different. It's not just Ravens talk. All right. So check us out, support. You know, this is the co-op here. If you guys watch the Wire, this is the co-op. All right. we work as a unit. You see a lot of collabs between us. We try to keep it tight like that, you know. And you guys enjoying this content, man. Your support is going to help us build.
Yep. On that note, hold on. Where is that? Be like Lamar last week, running to the turn.